Hi, I am B. Janardhan Reddy. In this video, you will be learning how to do a lab activity to find the refractive index of a prism. Prism lab activity. Finding the refractive index of a prism. In this lab activity, I will explain you the procedure step by step and you can do it your own after following this procedure carefully. So, aim of the lab activity, aim, finding the refractive index of a prism. Then what are the materials required in doing this lab activity? Material required: prism, drawing board, sheets of white paper, drawing pins, ordinary pins, that is all pins, scale and protractor. You can see all the materials that we are going to use in this lab activity here. This is the prism. See here, its base is triangular in shape. Okay, this is a prism, and here is the drawing board. Some sheets of white papers I am going to use. Here are the drawing pins to fix the white paper on the drawing board. All pins, scale and protractor. This is the material I am going to use. So here is the procedure. First of all, we have to fix a sheet of white paper to the drawing board with drawing pins. See here, procedure. In the first step, we have to fix a sheet of white paper to the drawing board with drawing pins. This is the drawing board. I am going to fix a sheet of white paper on it. Sheet of white paper I am going to fix by using drawing pins. Okay, next we have to place the prism on the paper. Here we have to place the prism on the paper in such a way that the triangular base of prism is on the chart. In the middle of the sheet, here I am going to place the prism in such a way that it sits on the triangular base. Place the prism on the paper in such a way that the triangular base of prism is on the chart. Okay, see here, this is the prism. You can see it is a triangular prism because its base is triangle. Okay, now we have to draw a line around the prism, isn't it? I am going to draw the outline of this prism here. So draw a line around. Draw a line around the prism, that is boundary, using a pencil. Okay. Now I am drawing the boundary of the prism here, you can see. So can you tell what is the shape of the outline? The shape of the outline is a triangle. Now we have to remove the prism. After drawing the outline, we have to remove the prism. The shape of outline is a triangle. I have removed the prism. Now you can see. So here, this is the outline of the prism. Let us name its vertices as P, Q and R. Name its vertices as P, Q and R. Okay, P, Q, R. Now, we have to find the angle between the two plane rectangular surfaces PQ and PR, and this angle gives the angle of the prism. Find the angle between PQ and PR. This is the angle of prism A. By using a protractor, I am going to find the angle between the two plane surfaces PQ and PR. Here it is 60 degrees. This angle is 60 degrees. So here A equal to 60 degrees. Now I am going to mark a point M on the side of the triangle PQ. Okay, here, and I will draw a perpendicular, that is normal, at the point M. Mark M on the side of the triangle PQ and also draw a perpendicular to PQ at M. Somewhere here I am going to mark a point M here. Let us name it as M. Now I will draw a normal to PQ at the point M. Okay. Let us draw the normal here. This is the normal I am drawing. Now I will mark an angle of 35 degrees to the normal. This is the normal I have drawn. So I am going to mark an angle of 35 degrees to the normal, and I will draw a ray up to M, and that ray gives the incident ray. See here. Mark an angle of 35 degrees to the normal, and then draw a ray up to M. This ray denotes the incident ray, and this angle is called angle of incidence. Here I have taken the angle of incidence I1 as 35 degrees. First let us mark the angle, 35 degrees angle here. So here is 35 degrees angle. Okay. Now let us draw a ray up to M. through this point. This is the ray, incident ray, and the angle of incidence here is I1 is 35 degrees. Now let us place the prism in its position again. Here I am going to place the prism again in its position. Okay, the prism has been placed in its position back. Okay, now I am going to fix two pins vertically on the line, that is on the incident ray. I am going to fix two pins vertically at the points A and B. See here. Now fix two pins vertically on the line, that is on the incident ray at points A and B as shown. See here. Here is the first pin I have fixed at point A, and here is the another pin fixed at the point B. And in the next step, from the side PR, from this side, we have to look for the images of the two pins through the prism. That means if we see from the side PR, we can see the images of the two pins somewhere here. So look for the images of pins through the prism from the other side PR. Okay. Look for the images of pins through the prism from the other side PR and fix another two pins at points C and D in such a way that all the four pins appear to lie along the same straight line. And here is an observer. He is looking for the images of these two pins through the prism, and he can see the two images here. So this is the image of this pin and this is the image of this pin. Okay, now we have to fix two more pins along the same line, along the same straight line. Okay, this is very important. So we have to fix another two pins at points CD somewhere here in such a way that all the four pins appear to lie along the same straight line. So these are the images of these two pins. Now I am going to fix two more pins in such a way that all the four pins lie along the same line. See here, if you draw a line, all are on the same line. That's all. So I have fixed two more pins at the point C and D. That is here C, D. Now remove the prism and take out pins. Remove the prism and take out pins. I am going to take out the pins, and here once you take out these two pins, two pinholes will be formed here, and we have to name these two pinholes as C, D. Okay, take out this pin also. Here one mark has been formed, one pinhole has been formed here also. Okay, now let us name the two pinholes as C and D. Name the two pinholes here, two pinholes formed by the pins as C and D. Now I am going to draw a ray passing through C and D to meet the surface PR at N here. Draw a ray passing through C and D to meet the surface at N. This ray indicates the emergent ray. Okay. Here I am drawing a ray through CD to meet the surface PR at N. This is the ray. This is called as the emergent ray. Later we have to draw the normal to PR at N here. We have to draw a normal at N, and the angle between this normal and this emergent ray gives the angle of emergence that we are going to find out later. First, let us draw the normal at N to the surface PR. Draw a normal at N. Okay, let us draw it. So here is 90 degrees. Let us mark here. Now draw normal like this. So this is the normal I am drawing. So some angle has been formed between the normal and the emergent ray. So from this we can see, so here AB is the incident ray and CD is the emergent ray. Now where is the refracted ray? So if we join the 2 points M and N, if you draw a ray from M to N, that gives the refracted ray. So draw a ray from M to N, and Mn is the refracted ray. Okay, let us draw the ray first. So here the ray I have drawn. So Mn is the refracted ray. So AB is the incident ray, Mn is the refracted ray, and CD is the emergent ray. Okay. Now in this lab activity, we are going to find the angle of minimum deviation. So first we have to find the angle of deviation in this case. So what is the angle of deviation? Let us see. We have to extend the emergent ray backwards and the incident ray forwards. So the angle between the incident ray and the emergent ray is called as the angle of deviation. So that angle of deviation I am going to measure. So let us see here. Let us extend the emergent ray. So this is called as the emergent ray. I am going to extend it backwards, and this is the incident ray, and I will extend this incident ray forwards. So some angle will be formed between these two rays. That angle is called as the angle of deviation D. See here. Here one formula is there to find the refractive index of the prism N. N equal to sin A plus D by 2 by sin A by 2. So from this lab activity, I have already measured the A value, that is the angle of prism, it is 60 degrees. Now we have to find the angle of minimum deviation, that is capital D. So first let us measure the angle of deviation, not minimum deviation. First we have to measure the angle of deviation only first. Angle of minimum deviation will be found by using a graph. Later we can do that. So here I am extending this emergent ray backwards. Okay, now let us extend the incident ray forwards like this. The prism is not there, the incident ray would have gone like this. So here some angle has been formed here. So this angle is called as the angle of deviation. So the angle of deviation, that is this value, depends upon the angle of incidence. So the angle of deviation varies with the variation of angle of incidence. The angle of deviation first decreases with increase of angle of incidence and reaches to minimum value, then increases with increase of angle of incidence. We can see all these things clearly. So this is the angle of deviation that we have to measure. See here, this is the angle of incidence. Here, this is the angle of emergence I2, and this is the angle of deviation. So in each case, we are going to find the angle of deviation. Later, we have to draw a graph to find the angle of minimum deviation, capital D. Now I am measuring the angle of deviation and angle of emergence by using a protractor. Okay, see here, measure the angle D, that is the angle of deviation between the incident ray and emergent ray. Here, see here how much it is. So here, this is the angle of deviation, it is around 38 degrees. So D equal to 38 degrees. Angle of deviation, in this case when angle of incidence is 35 degrees, the angle of deviation is measured 38 degrees. And again let us measure the angle of emergence here. Measure the angle between the normal, this one, this is the normal at N, normal drawn at N, and emergent ray, this is the emergent ray. This angle I am going to measure now. This gives the angle of emergence I2. So see here how much it is. So here it is 58 degrees. I2 equal to 58 degrees. Now remove the drawing pins and paper, and we have to preserve this paper because I have recorded all the readings on the paper itself. Later I will record them in a table. Here you can check one thing in each case, whether you got the correct values or not. While deriving the formula to find the refractive index of prism, there is one condition, that is A plus D should be equal to I1 plus I2. It was there in the process of derivation. So A plus D should be equal to I1 plus I2. So you check here, what is the sum of A plus D here? 60 plus 38, D equal to 98, and I1 plus I2, 35 plus 58 is 93. So the error in this case is 5 degrees. We have to see the minimum error in each case. Okay, so let us remove the drawing pins and paper. So this is the first case. Now let us repeat this activity for the different angles of incidence, such as 40 degrees, 45 degrees, 50 degrees, 55 and 60 degrees. I am going to repeat the activity, same activity for 40, 45, 50, 55 and 60 degrees. And in each case, I will find D and I2. That is, D is the angle of deviation and I2 is the angle of emergence. In each case, I will find these two values. Here is the case 2. In case 2, I am taking the angle of incidence I1 equal to 40 degrees. For this angle of incidence, what will be the angle of deviation and what will be the angle of emergence I2, that we are going to find. The same procedure we have to follow. We have to fix a sheet of paper to drawing board again with the drawing pins. Fix a white paper to the board. Place the prism on the paper and draw the outline. After drawing the outline, you have to remove the prism. This is the drawing board. I am fixing a paper over it by drawing pins. And this is the prism, triangular prism. Around this prism, I will draw a line. See here. Now I will draw outline. This is the outline I am drawing. And the shape of the outline is, that is, it is a triangle, and we have to remove this prism. So we got the outline of the prism. Name the vertices as P, Q, R. Next, you have to mark a point M on the side PQ of the triangle and also draw a perpendicular to PQ at M. Here is the point M I have marked, and I will draw a normal at point M to the surface PQ. So this is the normal I am drawing. The same procedure I will repeat. Okay. Now mark an angle of 40 degrees with the normal. Here, this is the normal. In this case, I am going to take the angle of incidence as 40 degrees. Mark an angle of 40 degrees and then draw a ray up to M. And this ray denotes the incident ray, and this angle is called angle of incidence. Here I am marking an angle of 40 degrees with the normal. So here it is 40 degrees. Okay. Then draw a ray up to M. And this ray indicates the incident ray, and this angle is called angle of incidence. So here I1 equal to 40 degrees. Next, place the prism in its position back. Here I am going to place the prism again in its position. Okay. Next, now I will fix the two pins at points A and B. Now fix two pins vertically on the line at points A and B here on the incident ray. This is the first pin I have fixed, second one. Okay, so these are the two pins I fixed on the incident ray at the points A and B. Now an observer look for the images of these two pins through the prism from the other side PR. Okay, see here, look for the images of pins through the prism from the other side PR and fix another two pins at points CD in such a way that all the four pins appear to lie along the same straight line. So here an observer comes and looks for the images of these two pins through the prism. Here is an observer. Yes. So he can see the two images of these two pins. If he sees through the prism, he can see the images of these two pins here. Now he will fix two more pins at the 2 points C and D here in such a way that the 2 pins that I am going to fix and the images, all the 4 lie along the same straight line. Here is one pin, here is the another pin. So these 2 pins are fixed at the 2 points C and D. That means if you draw a line, so if you draw a straight line, all the 4 pins, that is these 2 images and the 2 original pins, lie along the same straight line. We have to fix these 2 pins in that manner only. Okay. Now remove the prism and take out pins. Prism is removed, pins are taken out. So here 2 pin holes are formed. Name the 2 pin holes formed by the pins as C and D. Now we have to draw a ray through CD to meet the surface at N. Draw a ray passing through C and D to meet the surface PR, okay, at N. This ray indicates the emergent ray. Let us draw it first. Okay. So this is called as the emergent ray, and it meets the surface PR at N. Okay. Now we have to draw the normal at N. We have to draw the normal to the surface PR at N. So here is 90 degrees. Let us mark it and draw the normal. This is the normal drawn at the point N. Okay. So this is called as the angle of emergence. Later we will find it. Draw a normal at N. I have already drawn it. Let us join M and N, that gives the refracted ray. Draw a ray from M to N. So Mn is the refracted ray. Draw it first, or extend the emergent ray backwards and the incident ray forwards. The angle between these two gives the angle of deviation. So first I am drawing a ray from M to N. Okay. Next I will extend the emergent ray backwards like this. In order to find out that angle of deviation, we have to draw these two rays. So I have extended the emergent ray backwards, then I will extend the incident ray forwards. and here some angle has been formed between these two extended rays, and this angle is called as the angle of deviation. Measure the angle D between the incident ray and emergent ray. Okay, that gives the angle of deviation, and later we have to measure the angle between the normal, this one, normal drawn at N, and the emergent ray, that gives the angle of emergence. So in each case I will measure these two angles, D and I2. So let us measure D value first. So here angle of deviation is 36 degrees. In the earlier case, when I1 was, that is when the angle of incidence was 35 degrees, the angle of deviation was 38 degrees. Here the angle of incidence has been increased from 35 to 40. Now the angle of deviation has decreased from 38 to 36. Okay, so here D value is 36. Now let us measure the angle of emergence. Here its value is 57 degrees. So here I2 is 57 degrees. Okay, again you can check whether the rule A plus D equal to I1 plus I2. Now remove the drawing pins and the paper. That's all. The second case is over. Next, case 3. In this case, I will take the angle of incidence I1 as 45 degrees. Same procedure I will follow. Fix a white paper to the board. Place the prism on the paper and draw the outline. Later we have to remove the prism. Drawing board, I will fix a white paper over it by using drawing pins. Now let us place the prism. Now draw the outline here. Then remove the prism. Name the vertices as P.Q.R. Then mark M on the side of triangle PQ, and also draw a perpendicular to PQ at M. In the same position, I am marking a point M on the side PQ, then I will draw a perpendicular at M. Let us draw the perpendicular at M. That's all. Now we have to mark an angle of 45 degrees. See here. Mark an angle of 45 degrees and then draw a ray up to M. This ray denotes the incident ray. This angle is called as the angle of incidence. I am going to mark an angle of 45 degrees with the normal. Here it is 45 degrees. Then draw a ray up to M. This is the incident ray. And the angle between this incident ray and the normal I1 is 45 degrees. I have taken this time. Now place the prism in its position back. Here I am going to place the prism. Okay. Next. Now I will fix two pins here at the same points A and B. Now fix two pins vertically on the line that is on the incident ray at the points A and B as shown here. These are the 2 points at which I am going to fix two pins, pin 1 and here is the pin 2. These 2 pins are fixed at the points A and B. Now look for the images of pins through the prism from the other side PR. From this side we have to look for the images of these 2 pins and fix another 2 pins at points C and D in such a way that all the 4 pins appear to lie along the same straight line as it before only. And here is an observer and he looks for the images of these 2 pins and here the images are formed and let us fix 2 more pins at the points C and D in such a way that all the 4 pins lie along the same straight line. Now remove the prism and take out pins. And here 2 pin holes have been formed. Name them as C and D. Next, we have to draw a ray passing through C and D to meet the surface at N. Okay, this ray indicates the emergent ray. Let us draw it. Next, we have to draw the normal at N. Here. Let us draw it. Yes. Let us join the points M and N. Draw a ray from M to N. Okay. And Mn is the refracted ray. Here I am joining M and N. Then I will extend the emergent ray backwards and the incident ray forwards to know the angle of deviation. The angle between these two gives the angle of deviation D. I am extending the emergent ray. This is the emergent ray. I am extending it backwards. Similarly, extend the incident ray forwards. That means this ray would have gone like this in the absence of prism. That means how much deviation has been taken place in the presence of prism. That is called as the angle of deviation. Now I will measure the angle of deviation D here and the angle of emergence here. Measure the angle between the incident ray and emergent ray, that gives the angle of deviation, and measure the angle between the normal. This is the normal drawn at N and this is the emergent ray and this gives the angle of emergence here. This is the angle of emergence and here is the angle of deviation that I am going to measure by using a protractor. So here it is 33 degrees. The angle of deviation has further decreased compared to the earlier case. And let us measure the angle of emergence. Here I2 is 46 degrees. So you can check whether the observed values are correct or not. To some extent it may deviate. A plus D should be equal to I1 plus I2. A plus D, A is 60 plus 33. Here it is 93, and here I1 45, I2 46, we get 91. So deviation is 2 degrees. That means this is the error. So every time you have to check. Error will be there. The only thing is that you have to minimize the error. Now remove the drawing pins and paper. So this is the third case. Next, case 4. In this case, I am going to take the angle of incidence I1 as 50 degrees. Same procedure. Fix A white paper to the board, place the prism on the paper and draw the outline, then remove the prism. Drawing board, here is the paper, I am fixing it. Drawing pins. Then I will place the prism. The prism. Here I am showing the prism every time because how many surfaces it has to recognize. The base is triangular in shape. The prism has a seat on its triangular base. Then I will draw the outline. This is the outline. Later I will remove the prism. Mark the vertices as the PQR as it is. PQR and mark M on the side of triangle PQ and also draw a perpendicular to PQ at M. Here I am going to mark the point M as it is. This is the point M I have marked. Then I will draw the normal, that is perpendicular to PQ at M. Draw the normal like this. This time I will mark an angle of 50 degrees. See here. Mark an angle of 50 degrees and then draw a ray up to M. This ray denotes the incident ray and the angle is called angle of incidence. Let us mark an angle of 50 degrees with the normal here. This is the normal. So here is 50 degrees. Okay. Then remove this. Draw a ray up to M. And this is called as the incident ray, and the angle between these two is called angle of incidence. So here I have taken I1 as 50 degrees. Next, place the prism in its position back. Okay. And let us fix two pins on the incident ray at the points A and B as it is. Prism has been placed in its position, and here now fix two pins vertically on the line that is on the incident ray at points A and B. Here are the 2 points. I am going to fix two pins at A and B vertically like this. Then we have to look for their images through the prism from other side PR. An observer comes and look for the images of these two pins through the prism Look for the images of pins through the prism from the other side PR, this is PR, and fix another two pins at points C and D in such a way that all the four pins appear to lie along the same straight line. Four pins means here the two images and the two pins that are going to fix all should be on the same line. We have to fix the two more pins in such a manner. So here is an observer. For him, the images of these two pins appear here, and he will fix two more pins on the same line. That means all the four pins, that is these two images and these two pins, should lie along the same line. He will fix like this. Let us pick the two pins. First pin, second pin. That means if you draw a line, it will go like this. All the four pins are on the same line only. Now remove the prism and take out pins. First I am removing the prism. I am taking out the pins one by one. Here, when it has been taken out, it has left some mark here on the paper. So here two pin holes have been formed by these two pins, and I will name these two pin holes as C and D. Name the two pin holes formed by the pins as C and D. Now we have to draw a ray passing through C and D, and it meets PR surface at N. Draw a ray passing through C and D to meet the surface PR at N, and this ray indicates the emergent ray. So this is the emergent ray. Now we have to draw a normal. We have to draw a normal at point N. Let us draw the normal at point N. This is the normal drawn at point N. Next, join M and N. Draw a ray from M to N, and Mn will become as the refracted ray. Let us draw it. Next, we have to extend the emergent ray backwards and the incident ray forwards. I am extending this emergent ray backwards, and the incident ray forwards like this. And these two extensions are met here and forming some angle. This angle is called angle of deviation. Let us measure both angles. Measure the angle D between the incident and the emergent ray. Similarly, we have to measure the angle between the normal drawn at N and the emergent ray. That gives the angle of emergence. And this one is the angle of deviation. So it is 36 degrees. In the earlier case, it was 33 degrees. When I1 was 45 degrees, D was 33 degrees. When I1 is 50 degrees, D is 36 degrees. That means the angle of deviation has increased now. It was reached to minimum, again it is gradually increases. So this is I2 equal to, that is angle of emergence equal to 47 degree in this case. So let us check here. This one is A value is 60, it is constant. 60 plus 50, for this prism it is constant. 60 plus 50, 36, 96 degrees. So A plus D should be equal to I1 plus I2. So 60 plus 36 we get 96, and I1 plus I2 equal to 97. The error in this case is only just 1 degree error is there. Now remove the pins, drawing pins and paper. So this is the fourth case. So 4 readings I have taken so far. Next, case 5. In this case, I am going to take the angle of incidence as 55 degrees. Fix a white paper with the board as it is. Place the prism on the paper and draw the outline. Later, we have to remove the prism. This is the drawing board. I am fixing a white paper over it by using drawing pins. Every time I am taking a fresh sheet of paper, and here is the prism. I will place it in the middle of the sheet. It will sit in its triangular base. So here the refracting surfaces are rectangular in shape. Now let us draw the boundary of the prism. Here I am drawing the boundary or outline. We get a triangle. Now let us remove the prism. Now name the vertices as P.Q. Now let us mark an angle of 50 degrees, and then not 50, before that you have to draw, you have to mark a point M on the side of triangle PQ, and also draw a perpendicular to PQ at M. First we have to mark M on this side here, then you have to draw the normal to PQ at this point. Here is 90 degrees. Then draw the normal. This is the normal I am drawing, normal to PQ at the point M. This time I am marking an angle of 55 degrees with the normal. So mark an angle of 55 degrees and then draw a ray up to M. And this ray denotes the incident ray. The angle is called angle of incidence. So first mark an angle of 55 degrees. That is, this is making an angle with respect to normal. So here 50, here is 55. Then we have to draw a ray up to M. This is the incident ray, and the angle formed here is angle of incidence. It is 55 degrees. In this case I have taken. Now let us place the prism in its position. Back here again, where prism has been placed in its position. Now let us fix two pins on the incident ray at the 2 points A and B here. Here is one point, here is another point. I am going to fix two pins vertically at the 2 points A and B. Yes, two pins have been placed here, fixed here, and we have to look for their images through the prism from the other side PR. Look for the images of pins through the prism from the other side PR, and fix another two pins at points C and D here in such a way that all the four pins appear to lie along the same straight line. And here is an observer. He looks for images of these two pins, and for him the images are appearing here, and he will fix two more pins this side in such a way that all the four pins, these two images and the two pins that we are going to fix, should appear to lie along the same straight line, like this. One pin is fixed, the other is fixed. That means all the four pins appear to lie along the same straight line. These are the images of these two pins. Okay. Now remove the prism and take out pins. If we take out these two pins, they leave some marks on the paper. They are called pinholes. Let us name them as C and D. Name the two pinholes formed by the pins as C and D. C and here D. Now we have to draw a ray passing through C and D, and that ray meets PR surface at N. Draw a ray passing through C and D to meet the surface PR at N, and this ray indicates the emergent ray. This is the emergent ray, and this emergent ray meets the surface PR at N. Here is the point N. At this point we have to draw the normal like this. Draw a normal at N. Okay. Now I am drawing the normal at N. This is the normal I am drawing. Now we have to join M and N. That ray indicates the refracted ray. Let us join M and N. Next we have to extend the emergent ray backwards. Extend the emergent ray backwards and the incident ray forwards. The angle between these two gives the angle of deviation D. I am extending it backwards. Similarly, let us extend the incident ray forwards. So these two rays are met here, forming some angle. That angle is called angle of deviation. Now let us measure the both angles, that is D and I2. Measure the angle D and measure the angle I2 here. Normal drawn and the emergent ray. This gives the angle of emergence I2. See here. So here it is around 42 degrees. D equal to 42 degrees. Similarly, let us measure the angle of emergence. That is, this is the angle of emergence. So it is 46 degrees. So A plus D, A is 60 plus D is 42. Now remove the drawing pins and paper from the drawing board. So this is the fifth case. Next, case 6. In this case, I am taking the angle of incidence as 60 degrees. You can take as many cases as you want, but here I am taking only 6 cases. Again, you have to take a fresh paper and fix it to the drawing board. Fix a white paper to the board, place the prism on the paper and draw the outline. Later, after drawing the outline, you have to remove the prism. So this is the drawing board. Here is the paper I am fixing to the drawing board. Now, let us place the prism in the middle of the sheet. It is going to be sit on its triangular base. Now let us draw the outline. Yes, now remove the prism. So we got a triangle. Now name the vertices of this triangle as P, Q, R. Then mark M, point M on the surface on the side PQ. Mark M on the side of triangle PQ and also draw a perpendicular to PQ at M. Now draw the normal to the surface PQ at M, here 90 degrees. Remove this. Draw the normal by using a scale. This time I am marking an angle of 60 degrees to the normal here. So mark an angle of 60 degrees and then draw a ray up to M. This ray denotes the incident ray and this angle is called angle of incidence. Let us mark an angle of 60 degrees by using refractor. Here is 60 degrees. Now we have to draw a ray up to M through this point, and this ray indicates the incident ray. Let us draw it by a scale. And here is the angle of incidence. It measures 60 degrees. So I1 equal to 60 degrees. Place the prism in its position back. Place the prism in its position again. I am placing it. Now let us fix two pins vertically on the incident ray at the 2 points A and B. Now fix two pins vertically on the line at points A and B as shown. This is the point A, this is the point B. I am fixing two pins vertically. Remember, the pins always should be fixed vertically. And we have to look for the images of these two pins from the other side of the prism PR. Look for the images of pins through the prism from the other side PR and fix another two pins at points C and D. Later I will name them as C and D in such a way that all the four pins appear to lie along the same line. So here an observer comes and looks for the images of these two pins. When he comes here he can see the two images of these two pins, and he will fix two more pins. He will fix two more pins vertically in such a way that all the four lie along the same line. Here is one pin he fixed, the other pin he has fixed. Okay. So all the four pins appear to lie along the same line. Now remove the prism and take out pins. Prism has been removed. I am taking out pins, and if we take these two pins out of the paper, they leave some marks or some holes. They are called pin holes, and we have to name them as C and D. It has left one pinhole here. It also has left another pinhole. Let us name the two pinholes as C and D. Name the two pinholes formed by the pins as C and D. That's all. Now we have to draw a ray passing through C and D to meet the surface PR at N. Here we have to draw a ray like this, and that ray will meet the surface PR at N, and that ray indicates the emergent ray. This is the emergent ray. Let us draw it through CD. Okay, this is the emergent ray, and it meets the surface PR at N. Okay, now we have to draw the normal. Draw a normal at point N. Here is 90 degrees. Draw the normal there. Okay. Now let us draw the refracted ray by joining M and N. Draw a ray from M to N. So Mn will become as the refracted ray. Let us draw it. This is the refracted ray. And we have to extend the emergent ray backwards and the incident ray forwards. The angle between these two rays, these two extensions otherwise gives the angle of deviation. Here is one extension. And here is another extension. These two extensions are met at this point, and here is the angle formed by. Now let us measure the angles. Let us measure the angle of deviation here and the angle of emergence I2. First I am going to measure. So here measure the angle between the normal here and the emergent ray. This gives the angle of emergence. So let us first measure the angle of deviation, D value here. D equal to 55 degrees. So the angle of deviation has further increased with the increase of angle of incidence. Next, measure the angle of emergence here. It is 56 degrees. So A plus D value is 60 plus 55, 115. Here I1 plus I2 equal to 116. So A plus D is almost nearly equal to I1 plus I2. So the error is only 1 degree. Now remove the drawing pins and paper. So this is the sixth case. So I have taken the angle of the. So let us record all our observations in the table below. So here I have recorded all our observations in this table that you are going to see. Here is the table. Okay, so these are the observations. So totally we have taken 6 cases. You can check out what are the values of I1, D, I2 from each paper. I will bring back all the papers one by one. Let us check out. See here, this is the case 1. In this case, so the angle of prism Angle of prism, it is fixed here. This angle of prism A is constant for this prism. Okay. So in this case, I have taken the angle of incidence as I1 as 35 degrees, and we got the angle of deviation as 38 degrees, angle of emergence as 58 degrees. Then what is the sum of A and D here? 60 plus 38, 98. A plus D value is 98, and I1 plus I2, that is 93 degrees. So error is 5 degrees error is there in this. Okay. Now let us take the second sheet. In this case, we have taken the angle of incidence as 40 degrees, and we got the angle of deviation as 36 degrees. You can observe here. Here the angle of incidence has been increased from 35 to 40, whereas angle of deviation has been decreased from 38 to 36. Okay, so initially the angle of deviation decreases with the increase of angle of incidence. Later it will increase with the increase of angle of incidence. You can see that. So what is the D value here? It is 36, 40, 36, and I2 is 57. So what is the value of A plus D here? A is 60 plus D value is 36, 96, I1 plus I2 97. The error in this case is just 1 degree error. You have to look for minimum error every time. Let us take the third sheet. So in this case, I1 equal to 45 degrees. See here, the angle of deviation has further decreased. So angle of deviation is 33 now. So angle of emergence is 46. To check out, it is 60 plus 33, 93. Here 45 plus 46, 91. So the deviation is, that is the error, not deviation. The error is 2 degrees. Let us take the fourth one. So here I1 equal to 50 degrees and D value is 36 degrees. Previously it was 33. Now the angle of deviation has become 36. That means it has been increased. Now I2 is 47. So 60 plus 36, 96, and 50 plus 47, we get 97. The error is 1 degree. The fifth case, I1 equal to 55, D value is 42, I2 equal to 46. Error is 1 degree. And in the last case, I1 value is 60 degree. That is, the angle of incidence is 60, and angle of deviation we got 55, and I2 is angle of emergence. A plus D value is 115, I1 plus I2 is 116. The error in this case is 1 degree. And you can observe that, see here, when the angle of incidence is gradually increasing, the angle of deviation gradually decreases and reaches to minimum value again, and it will increase with the increase of angle of incidence. And the minimum angle of deviation is capital D. Here it is. We can find the minimum angle of deviation by using a graph. That means we are going to draw a graph between the angle of deviation and the angle of incidence by taking the angle of deviation on the x-axis and angle of deviation on the y-axis and the angle of incidence on the x-axis. Let us draw the graph between I1 and D. Now, let us draw the graph between angle of incidence I1 and angle of deviation D. So these are the measured values, observed values. See here, graph between angle of incidence and angle of deviation. And the scale I have taken on the x-axis here 1 centimeter equal to 2.5 degrees. So from here to here it is 1 centimeter and it represents 2.5 degrees. Otherwise one small unit is there now here. One small unit, one small unit. So such 4 units will represent 1 degree. That means 1 degree equal to 4 units actually. So 1 degree equal to 4 units means from here to here 5 degrees. 5 degrees means 5 into 4, 20 units from here to here. And the same scale has been taken on the y-axis. So angle of deviation has been shown on the y-axis and angle of incidence has been shown on the x-axis, and these are the observed values. So when I1 equal to 35 degrees and the D value is 38, so when it is 35 means 38. So here it is 35 already, still 3 degrees. 3 degrees means 1 degree we have to count 4. 3 into 4, 12 units. That's are here. So this is 35 and 38. Next, when the value of I1 is 40 degrees, the D value is 36 degrees. See here, here it is 40. So here it is 35. So one more degree means 4 units. You have to count somewhere here. That's all. Next, similarly, I1 is 45, 33 degrees. 45. Okay. So here it is 30. You have to count 3 degrees. For 1 degree we have to count 4 units, small units. So 3 degrees means how many units we have to count? 3 into 4, 12 units. Somewhere here. That's all. Next, here 50 degrees, when the angle of incidence is 50 degrees and it is 36 degrees, here the same you will get, here, not there, here, it is 36 degrees. Next, when the angle of incidence is 55 degrees, for 55 it is 42. 42 means up to here it is 40 and 2 degrees above, that means 2 into 4, that is 8 units we have to count somewhere here. Next, so the angle of incidence I1 is 60 degrees, isn't it? So the angle of deviation we observed is 55 degrees. Direct point is there here, 55 degrees. Now we have to join all the points. That gives the graph between the angle of incidence and angle of deviation. Let us draw the graph by joining all the points. Here I am drawing the graph. Okay. Yes. This is the graph I have drawn. Now, in order to know the angle of minimum deviation, we have to draw a horizontal line here. We have to draw a horizontal line from the lowest portion of the graph. We have to draw a horizontal line to cut the y-axis like this, and the horizontal line drawn to the x-axis, and wherever that horizontal line meets the y-axis, that gives that angle of deviation is nothing but angle of minimum deviation. So we have to draw horizontal line. We have to draw a line parallel to the x-axis like this from the lowest point on the graph here. Here I am drawing a parallel line like this from the lowest point. So this is the D value. This is the D value. It is 33 degrees. It is 33 degrees. Now, at what angle of incidence it is 33? We have to draw a line parallel to the y-axis here. So, when the angle of incidence is 45 degrees, we got the angle of minimum deviation 33 degrees. So this capital D is nothing but it is the angle of minimum deviation. From this graph, we can conclude that the angle of minimum deviation in our lab activity is 33 degrees. So angle of minimum deviation D value is 33 degrees. From the graph, we found the angle of minimum deviation capital D as 33 degrees. Okay, and the angle of prism we have already known its value as 60 degrees. Next, the formula to find the refractive index of the prism, n equal to sine the refractive index of prism, n equal to sine a plus d by 2 by sine a by 2. In this formula, n is the refractive index of the material used in making the prism, and d is the angle of minimum deviation that we have found in this activity. From the above graph, we have found this value, and A is the angle of prism. Its value is 60 degrees. So let us substitute these values, these two values in this formula and simplify it. So n equal to 60 plus 33 by 2 by sine 60 by 2, or 60 plus 33 means n equal to sine 93 by 2 by sine 60 by 2, or here 93 by 2 means 46.5 degrees by sine 30, 60 by 2 means here 30, or sine from the tables, from the sine tables. Here I have used the sine tables, or you can use the scientific calculator to know the sine values for this angle. So sine 46.5 degrees, its value is 0.73, and sine 30 is 1 by 2 means 0.5. So after division we get n value as 1.46. This is the refractive index of the material used in making the prism. So the final result of this lab activity is the refractive index of prism N equal to 1.46. So these are the precautions to be taken while doing the experiment. So see here, the angle of incidence should lie between 35 to 60. We have taken like that only. The pins should be fixed vertical. The distance between the two pins should not be less than 10 millimeters. And arrowheads should be marked to represent the incident and emergent rays, and the same angle of prism should be used for all the observations. This is all about the finding the refractive index of a prism, lab activity to find the refractive index of the given prism. Thank you.